Hello, my name is Bill Haley for the Facebook page called Separate Government Authority into 30 Sectors. Now, let me give you the full overview of this real quick, and then we'll go through the 30 sectors. I want all government authority to be broken down into 30 sectors. And let me just go through them real quick, put them on the slide. You have some to help the poor. You have the foreign protection system. You have some in the violent crime mitigation system. Then I'll flip through the other ones real quick to show you what we're dealing with. Healthcare, financial, insurance, food, education, manufacturing, human resources, identity, environmental, work safety, transportation, media, communication, land and water. So we have a lot there. So let me just go back. So we're going to do this on a Facebook group. That's where I want to have most of my discussion, but you'll see this video all across all of my social media. Now, what does it mean by separate all government authority into the 30 sectors? We mean each sector has an executive, legislative, and judicial departments or branches, just like we do now, but that's all one. Our president right now is over top of all these things all at once. Our governors are over all these things all at once. Our governors or city councils or Congress or the state legislative branch is all are over all of these all at once. I want to hire different people. No one person in my system can be in more than one sector at a time. So I want to hire different people to be over top of human resources, labor law. Then I do healthcare law versus banking law versus violent crime law, dealing with the police, dealing with the courts. I want these to be different people. So we'll have 30 governors, 30 presidents, 30 mayors per city, per state, for the federal government. And then 30 Congresses, 30 House of Delegates. That doesn't multiply the government power by no means. This reform by itself does not change how much government power there is. It just separates it out. So there's a lot more checks and balances for one, but there's different people. So when you go to vote, you vote for your top president for prisons. You for your top president for financial industry, the banking. You for the commander in chief, but separately for the top diplomat. You for the top healthcare provider or healthcare administrator, top insurance guy as a president. Now I want that to go mostly free enterprise. Don't get me wrong, but this right here does not change governmental power. It just separates what we have into 30 sectors. So yes, you would be making 30 different choices for president, for governor, for city councils, for state legislative seats, and the like. U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate, U.S. Congressmen, 30. Now, there's easy ways to do it. I have reforms for that too. This reform doesn't do all that, but obviously we want to know. Nobody knows who their congressman is now or what they stand for. And do you think we can really do it times 30? Well, we can, but we need reforms for that as well. Competitive representative agencies is what I'm going for. That's another one of my reforms, but this reform doesn't require it, but it's really helpful to have that. So yes, we can do it, but you get to pick as a voter your guy per sector. So you might like Donald Trump, but what do you really like him for? You might like Barack Obama, but what do you really like him for? You might want him for education, but not how he does commander-in-chief. You might like him for how he does the environment, but not how he does the policing. You might like him for how he does the insurance regulations, but not how he does police regulations. So there's a lot of aspects. You might like how he does the land and water rights, but not how he does helping the poor. You get to pick your president, your legislative seat per sector. It's a lot of extra work, 30 times as much work. I understand that, but there's ways to make that work better. So let's go through all 30 sectors. So this system is about separated into all 30 sectors. Now, helping the poor, I go to a full charity system, so it takes a lot of power away from state people as well. But one sector is charity itself, the funding of the charities, the caseworkers, family law, and religion is on there, not because we want to regulate or make laws around it, but to fight for religious liberty or to fight to have religion not in your life. So however you want to do it, you at that sector board level for that purpose. And no, we're not going to regulate churches. That's not what it's there for. It's the exact opposite. That flips it to where it fights for religious liberty or fights to keep religion out of what you want to do. Okay, foreign protection system, a different president for the top diplomat than the top commander-in-chief. If the diplomats cannot handle the foreign situation and they have to call for war, then the commander-in-chief takes over. It's not the same person who failed at being the top diplomat, not going to be the same person who's commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief is the head of the military as the commander-in-chief to conduct war. Then military corporations, that is the creating of the military. And the military capability system, that is the funding of the military. And military authorization agency, that is making sure who's in power, giving them the badge, giving them the authority to be the tank commander, to be the aircraft carrier commander, be a pilot, or all the way down to the lowest rung in the military, the private first class, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's keep on going. Violent crime mitigation, a separate sector, separate legislative district, just to figure out what the violent crime laws should be, and that's where the prosecutors are as well. The law enforcement, that's strictly the people that go out there, the police officers and the sheriffs that enforce the law physically, with the guns, with the cars, going out there, being the manpower to do it. That's what they are. Law enforcement authorization, anybody with a badge needs to have that authority to have that badge. And actually, they do it for everybody in this, all 5 sectors here, from the prosecutors to the judges to the cops to the prison guards, everybody. There's a lot to it. The judicial authority, that's the courts. That's a separate sector. So the legislative body there, all they're doing is making laws strictly on court issues, making sure civil liberties are respected in the court of law. Prisons and corrections, you vote for your legislative and your governor and your mayor and your city council strictly on that one issue. A separate city council, separate state legislative body, separate governor, separate U.S. Congress, just for prisons and prison policy, prison funding, prison top executive, the president, dealing with the prisons. So highly important there. And everything law enforcement will be in one of these 5 categories here. We separate healthcare into 2 sectors, one more for the medicine, the pharmaceutical, one for more the doctors, the hospitals, healthcare, any healthcare businesses. So medical devices would be with pharmaceuticals. So that's 2 different ones. So we have a legislative, a executive, the president, the U.S. Congress, a governor, a state legislative body, same thing with mayors and city councils. For each one of these, just for healthcare, when you elect your president over healthcare, you are electing it just for that healthcare, or just for the pharmaceutical companies. Then financial industry is huge, but we're going to separate it from the banking and then other financial instruments and stuff like that. There'll be a clear separation. And then insurance is going to be more of the social insurance, social security will be in that, and the like. And all the insurance companies, from life insurance to car insurance to all the other insurance that's out there, business insurance and the like. So let's keep on going from there. Okay, food, people who are elected to legislate rules around FDA and food and everything, they're just elected for that same issue. So they're going to be steeped into the agricultural or food processing or whatever the case may be, and they're going to get elected on those basis, from their expertise on that basis. Education, you hire we kind of do that with school boards right now. This is an example of not just having we have a split off for school board, but we have a split off for 30 different things now. For everything, we have a split off. So even though education and the school board is kind of off to the side, and we still have a lot of state legislative bodies doing the legislation, then we have the school board. Now, school boards will be a separate body. When you elect your governor and your state legislative representative, you are doing it strictly on their education policy. Manufacturing, a lot of regulations surrounding everything manufacturing, and that's going to probably do services and different things like that. That doesn't obviously meet up with any of the other categories I already have here, all the other sectors. Anyway, that's clearly one sector. Human resources and sales, that's HR related stuff, plus sales taxes. There's a lot there. That's going to be a major tax collector, by the way. That's where we get the taxes from. Income tax, Social Security tax and payroll tax, sales tax, and the like. Identity, personal and business. Obviously, the DMV is something similar to what this is, where you get your identification cards, but it's going to go farther into that. This one's going to be in charge of all the elections, and that's going to be important. So let's keep on going. Environmental, when you vote, you're going to vote strictly on environmental rule regulations, and so your president, your governor, your city council, you're going to go strictly on environmental law. Who's your representative? And you vote for that person based off of that issue. Work safety and disability, the Americans with Disability Act, but it's going to be a lot more than that. It's going to be OSHA for work safety, and you're going to include a lot more into that. That's going to be more of a catch-all where you're going to have a lot of regulations that you might not see. It's like, wait a minute, where did that really fall? It's going to fall into that one to a large degree. Transportation, dealing with roads. Just think about it. When you vote for president, governor, city council, when you vote for the legislative branches, the U.S. Congress, the state legislative representatives, the city councils, you're going to do it strictly on what they think about roads. So their full concentration is going to be just on roads or transportation. This will include railways and airports and waterways, but anything dealing with transportation. Right now, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Media and communications going to also be more of a catch-all where you're going to have a lot of extra departments where you're like, well, where does it fit? It's going to fit into either work safety and disability or media and communication. There are going to be some catch-alls that we're going to be able to put things into. Land and water, who owns what land or what water rights, that's highly important. It's separate from environmental, but these are more, what can you use this land for? For noise control, pollution, noise, well, I said noise control. Anyway, what can you use the land for? So you don't want a major factory next to your residential house. And so there's a lot of laws surrounding that kind of stuff and who owns what. So we have a full government just for that. Now, obviously, just think about all these 30 different things. All the state delegates, all the U.S. congressmen, all the U.S. senators, all the city councils have to have their views on all 30 of these. There's no way they can have a concentration enough to make good laws on all these. If you separate into all 30, then they're only concentrating on just the roads or just environmental concerns or just OSHA and Americans with Disabilities Act or just the cops. They can narrow down their focus to 1/30th of what they currently do. And as you see, these are already major things that you're going to have a lot. It's going to be a lot just to understand the transportation, not just roads. But roads are a huge deal. There's a lot to know about that. But also waterways, airplanes, airports, whatever, airways, where things can fly, waterways and the like, trains and train tracks and the like. So there's a ton to know. No one person can even come close to being an expert in all of them. And even if you have 30 years, the people I want to be in charge, as a governor, as a House of Delegate member, as a congressman for roads, is somebody who is steeped into roads and planes and airlines and trains. People who are steeped into land use will use land and water. So they're steeped into it. They have 30 years. They're 50, 55 years old. Already spent 30 years as experience into this industry, so they can make good understanding. They have a good understanding of what type of laws to put in there. Okay, we already went over a lot. So I'm gonna try to go back over each one of these, dealing with the rating system. Each one of these will have a full rating system, and that's going to be important. And there's going to be mandates to the debate and the like. And there's going to be a write-up on every issue surrounding this. And every one of these sectors will have its own rating system. So they're concentrating just on the violent crime laws, or just on the courts itself, or just on the actual military, or the commander-in-chief aspect of the military, the command of the military. Okay, there's a lot more you can find on Haley2024.org, but this is why I want to separate all government power into 30 sectors, and I think it would make the government a lot better. And until the next video.